Let's begin with Prashanti. This is a well-admired segment which rotates around Satya Sai Baba and is composed, comprised and hosted here by Nalini Bhat. Let's see Mrs. Bhat's take for this week.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome brothers and sisters, this is Nalini. The decade from 1970 to 1980 saw many remarkable people drawn to Shri Baba magically. We bring you one such great devotee, Mrs. Phyllis Krystal, who came to Baba when she was 59 years old in 1973, and till she breathed her last when she was 102 years old, Mrs. Krystal devoted her entire life to practicing and teaching the various techniques to access the infinite divine wisdom within, which she called the high C for higher consciousness. Mrs. Krystal, a psychotherapist, had been developing a unique approach to tune in to our true inner self beyond body and mind, and removing all the old conditioning and the layers which obscure this divine connection even before she knew Baba existed. But when she met Baba, he revealed to her that it was he who was guiding her in developing these techniques. We bring you the amazing life of Mrs. Krystal in 3 parts. The first 2 will focus on her journey with Sai Baba, and the last one will bring you the guided meditation led by Mrs. Krystal herself.
Swami has said, when you reach 70, you are like Saptarishis, the 7 holy sages. When you are 80, you are Ashtadikpalakas, the head of east, west. When you reach 90, you are Navagrahas, the 9 planets. When you reach 100, you are pure divinity. So we have amongst us the pure divinity.
Professionally, Phyllis is a psychoanalyst. She developed so much insight and compassion for the human struggle and began to experience inner guidance and how to work with her patients in meditation. When she went to Baba in 1973, he confirmed that the inner guidance that she was receiving did come from him.
I always enjoy being able to talk to Sai devotees, because then I know they're wide open to what he had to teach, but also what he was teaching me through the work, through the method, all these many years. When I first met Swami, I could accept what he had to teach because it was so familiar to me. But I had no idea when I started the work that he even existed in a physical form. So it was an enormous surprise to me when I first went there and realized that I was teaching exactly what he was teaching. It was absolutely a revelation. And he said, you do not have to come back to see this little body. Find my counterpart in your own heart. That was his message. So we're putting his message into practice. How do I keep contact with the high C? This is a wonderful way. Think of this ribbon as a telephone connection with your God self. And that connects you. It's unbelievable. Everyone has this available. Practice this.
Mrs. Krystal's quest for a true spiritual master came to fruition when Shri Baba introduced himself to her in a mysterious and a mischievous way in a bookstore. Let's watch.
My husband and I went to India as soon as I had read the first book, Arnold Schulman's Baba. We'd never heard of Baba. My husband had to go there on business. And we were in a bookstore to get some reading material for the long journey. And I reached for the book that I wanted to get. And his other book fell down, almost knocking me on the head, and then fell straight on the shelf in front of me with the title. And I saw this figure, and I thought I had really studied most of the wonderful masters, never seen this one before. I wonder who he is. But the funny thing was that when I picked up the book, it made my fingers tingle. It was like I was getting an electric shock, and I thought, I've never had that happen before. This must be very special. So that was my first introduction.
To the utter disappointment of the Krystal couple, they could not see Sai Baba on their first visit to India. But strangely, they kept seeing Baba's pictures wherever they went, and also met those devotees who had experienced Sri Baba's divine love and his miracles. On their return to California, the Krystals decided to go and visit Sai Center, and soon enough they had a very strong urge to go back to India and meet Baba in person, and they planned their second trip to India. That and more in next Prashanti. Thank you for watching. Jai Sai Ram.
Let's start off with Prashanti in lead with hostess Nalini Bhat. Here she will illustrate a beautiful outlook on Satya Sai Baba. Let's take a look.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome brothers and sisters, this is Nalini. We have been bringing you on Prashanti the amazing life of Mrs. Phyllis Krystal, on whom Sri Baba conferred the rarest blessing of revealing various techniques of meditation. On today's Prashanti, let us dive a little deeper into Mrs. Krystal's journey with Baba.
59, we went to see Sai Baba for the first time.
Wow.
Now I am 99 and on the way to be 100. As long as Baba wants to use me as his instrument, it's okay with me.
Have you learned all the spiritual lessons now?
I'm quite sure I haven't, but he says that this is a wonderful time to be born and to live. He will help us to work out our past karma. He won't push us beyond our endurance. Sometimes I say to him, you've almost pushed me beyond my endurance. Just back off a little bit.
Holy Man Shri Satya Sai Baba's longtime devotee, Phyllis Krystal, at 99, a font of wisdom, love, and equanimity.
In the late 1950s, Mrs. Krystal and a close friend embarked on a spiritual experiment to connect with an inner source of wisdom, which they called the high C for higher consciousness. As a result of their inner explorations, they developed techniques to enable the individual to seek help and guidance from the high C within. She has captured their mystical journey to the avatar and its transformational impact on their lives in her book, Sai Baba, The Ultimate Experience. With Baba confirming the teachings she had been downloading from her high C, she has been giving seminars in numerous countries, guiding eager learners to reconnect to their high C. She maintains that this hunger to tap into a real self is an innate human calling. The goal is to break from any dependence on external authority figures and to seek release from old habits, beliefs, fears, and other influences, and replace them by becoming an instrument of the high C. Mrs. Krystal has authored a number of books, and these include Cutting the Ties That Bind, Taming the Monkey Mind, Reconnecting with Love Energy, and Sealing on Desires. At 99, you look beautiful, you live mostly on your own, travel, and you continue to teach actively. How do you do it all?
Only when I tune into Baba's energy. That's the only way for any of us. We get caught up in the world. He did tell me that this was the only program of all of his teachings which would take us to enlightenment. He said, you're all walking temples in which the God self lives. That's your identity. You're all gods. And in one interview, he turned to me, hiding as usual, and he said, say I'm God, Mrs. Krystal. I'm sorry, I can't. Say I'm God, Mrs. Krystal. Oh, Baba, I can't. Say I'm God, Mrs. Krystal. So to get it over with, I said, I'm God. That was not satisfying him at all. He said, louder. And so I did it a little louder. Louder, louder, louder. So finally I was even shouting it, and he was satisfied. This is what he wanted to teach us, that that's our reality, and that's the part that doesn't die when our bodies die.
From the very first meeting with Sri Baba, when he welcomed Mrs. Krystal with, so you have come, to the last day of Mrs. Krystal's life, she could feel Baba's presence, sometimes in physical form, even after his Mahasamadhi. She narrates an incident as trivial as she going to the dentist and finding Baba in physical form. Let's watch.
I was going to ask you, where's Sai Baba in your life today? And this story is probably as good as any to begin with.
I guess it is. A physiotherapist was telling me about his new dentist. And I said, well, I've been looking for a dentist. And he said, but this one is not only a dentist, but he's also a homeopathic doctor, practices Chinese medicine. And I said, well, I've been looking for a dentist, a homeopathic doctor, and a Chinese doctor. Make an appointment as early as possible. The first day I went, he was checking. All of a sudden he said, do you know Satya Sai Baba? And I almost fell off my chair. And I said, yes. He said, the reason I'm asking you is that Baba is sitting here right now.
In the physical
again,
form.
I almost fell off my chair. Baba directs you to the people that you want. And what more could I have asked than to have him sitting there talking to my dentist? He's always there when I go.
What do you make of this?
You better ask Baba.
Please tune in to watch and participate in guided meditation by Mrs. Krystal in the next Prashanti. Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
Again, we have a full 60-minute show, so we better move right along towards Prashanti, which will be hosted by an out-of-town anchor, Mrs. Nalini Bhat. Let's enjoy her insight on Satya Sai Baba.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, bliss is my food.
This is a perfect way, which was given to me, of making that contact with the God within. When families work with the maple, or it's just unbelievable, the energy and the feeling in the family changes completely. The gold sphere at the top is perfect. It keeps you connected. Think of this ribbon as a telephone connection with your high C or your God self. And that connects you. It's unbelievable. Don't argue that it's childish. I would like to take you through the maypole exercise. I've been teaching it for all these years, and it works. If you're sitting in a chair, uncross your legs. Because we're going to be receiving from our God self, we always hold our hands like this. So here you are, ready to receive. Imagine you're coming up to this little maypole, choosing a ribbon, any color. You are giving yourself the message that you want contact with your real self, the high C. So take your ribbon and go back to your seat, holding it loosely in your hand. This is a telephone connection. You can talk to the Baba within, or the high C, and you can listen. Each one holding your ribbon, just say, I want you to tell me what you have to give me. Eventually you will get the answer to that question. Next we will ask for relaxing energy. We breathe it in deeply and feel it moving it within you, in your mind, heart, body. Take 1 or 2 deep breaths, breathing in the relaxing energy and letting go with your breath all tension. Feel it running out through your fingers and toes. The next thing we'll ask for is healing energy. Physical, emotional, or mental healing. So breathe in the healing energy and let it do whatever Baba knows is needed. As you breathe out, let go of the control of any condition that's not for your well-being. Next, we'll ask for cleansing energy to flow to us from the high sea. Breathe in this cleansing energy and let go of anything from the past that we are willing to release. Just feel as if a wonderful mountain stream was coursing within you, removing all the negative memories. And now we will ask for strengthening energy. Breathe it in, feel it coursing through you, strengthening you. As you breathe out, let go of any blocks to your receiving it. Lastly, but most important of all, we've all been looking for unconditional love. We don't have to earn it. What a relief. We don't have to deserve it even. We just have to ask for it because it is our birthright. Just breathe it in. Feel that it's filling in all the empty spaces, satisfying the inner hunger for love. Unconditional. No strings attached. Breathe it in deeply, and as you breathe out, let go of anything that could prevent you from receiving it. Ask for a flower to appear at your heart. If it's closed, tell your heart, you're safe to open to the love from the high sea. You feel your own heart opening and expanding, moving up from your heart into your brain. Imagine that it's cleaning out your brain so that your thoughts are more loving. Watch as that same love flows up into each one of your sense organs. And imagine a deep rose pink light moving into your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and your skin. Imagine this love entering every single gland, organ, the various systems of your body, the digestive, reproductive, muscular, skeletal, and now into every cell, so that you're becoming like a sponge, soaking up this love from the high sea or the Baba cell, and it's flowing over onto the outside of you. Just sit there quietly, soaking up this love from the high sea. This is the way to make contact with the God force within each one. You can spread this love, radiating this love wherever you go, and you're filling whatever space you're occupying. If you will do this frequently, your whole life will change. And now start very gently to move your arms, legs, arch your back, and come back fully conscious. Sairam to all of you.
Let's start with Prashanti, with beautiful Nalini Bhat. Madam Nalini will now enlighten us on another very warm and historical aspect of Satya Sai Baba. Come on close, let's take a look.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food.
We we at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome, brothers and sisters. This is Nalini. Wish you a very happy new year, brothers and sisters. As we usher in the new years, let us pray to Shri Baba to make each day of this new year filled with joy, gratitude, and adherence to his principles. Shri Baba always urged his devotees to make each day a new day, each day a celebration. Can you imagine how our lives would be transformed if we spent each day of the new year with the same fervor and the enthusiasm as we have today? Baba's teachings, as always, are simple yet profound.
For true devotees, every day is a matter of celebration. It is absolutely necessary to feel blissful at every moment, every hour, every day in our life. And hence, every day happens to be a new day, a celebration. Today is the new year. We consider that new year will grant us new prosperity, new wealth, good or bad, are not brought by the new year. Good and bad are based on our own actions. We don't need to wait for the new year. Every moment is new for that matter. For our pain and pleasure, the profit and the loss, year is not the cause. Our behavior is the main cause. You are good, you'll have good results. They are with our thoughts. We should develop good thoughts. We should have good conduct. We should develop good feelings. All are human beings.
Cost of humanity, religion of love, language of the heart. Do your duty sincerely.
On this auspicious occasion of New Year, thanks to digital revolution, millions of devotees are virtually connected.
Let me start by wishing each and everyone a very happy, holy, Sai-filled New Year. When it comes to practical living, what are the things which we need to practice when we pride ourselves as property of none other than God himself? Swami, in his famous English bhajan, "Love is my form," he said, "Expansion is my love. My love is ever expanding." In fact, he told us n number of times, your love should start with yourself, expand to your family, state, national level, international level, encompass the entire humanity, the entire beings. And subsequently, Swami said, if you have the spiritual capacity in you, love the entire universe.
8 o'clock in the evening, I am going towards this friend's house. I suddenly hear a clear voice. Shh! To my utter surprise, I see Bhagwan in his full pristine form, sitting on a bench. I rubbed my eyes and said, "Is this real?" And I threw the bike and went near, and I actually clasped the feet. And it was real. It was real Swami sitting on that bench. He says, "Look at the moon. Now there is the moon. Tomorrow morning there will be the sun. The sun will come, the moon will come. The sun will come, the moon will come. Life is also like this," he said. "Good times, bad times, good times, bad times. It will go on changing. But I am with you." It was a most fascinating experience to see the Lord himself, out of the blue, seated on an obscure bench off a cement road behind Bemel factory on the eastern side of Bangalore on one insignificant night. He chose to come sit there to give darshan and to give an assurance that I am there.
let us resolve to follow at least one teaching of Bhagavan, be it love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never, or the hands that help are holier than the lips that pray. Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.
To begin with, our gorgeous hostess Nalini Bhat, who will relay sweet moments of Satya Sai Baba's life. Let's tune in.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome brothers and sisters, this is Nalini. A doctor can treat a patient, cure him, but can he bring him back from the very portals of death? The divine doctor Shri Baba could, and he has brought back many people who were declared dead by the doctors with absolutely no heartbeat and no pulse. They lived to tell their tale and carried Baba's mission forward, doing full justice to the precious life which was reinstated by Bhagavan. Today on Prashanti, we bring you two such cases.
Colonel Bose is the director-curator of the Chaitanya Jyoti Museum in Puttaparthi, India.
There's the world-famous story right from the lips of the son of the man who died in the middle of the Purnachandra Hall with 20,000 people. Baba brought your father back to life.
My father had been working very hard on making a concrete apron around the new mandir. And then he fell ill. After a week on Dasara, 1988, against mother's advice, he said, no, I must listen to Swami's discourse. So he went. Swami started his discourse. Father toppled down from the chair. Dr. Chari and Dr. Patel, sitting behind him, immediately came over and they found no heartbeat, no pulse. Swami in the meantime was rushing towards father. He pushed the two doctors aside and appeared to catch something from the air, gave a pat on father's head. Father opened his eyes. Swami said, get up. He got up. There was large clapping from everywhere. Swami came back, continued with his discourse as if nothing has happened. My mother and sister saw Swami go somewhere. They heard clapping. So he said, whatever had happened must be something good.
They were on the ladies' side.
After the discourse, father was walking back to the room and these two doctors were following him. So he says, what's wrong? He said, you don't know what happened to you? He said, I fainted. He said, fainted my foot, you died. We found no trace of life in you. Father said, he saw a huge golden eagle. He was wondering, how did that huge bird come through this opening? He was floating above the gathering. Suddenly he was back in his body. He saw Swami waving the bird away and the bird disappeared.
Tell us the significance of the eagle.
The eagle is supposed to come and take the soul with it. In the evening, there was a trust meeting. Swami announced Bose had died, but I can't let him go as yet. He still has work to do for me. And the work was a super specialty hospital.
In his book, The
Please stay tuned as we shall bring forth Mrs. Nalini Bhat's Prashanti. Here she will unfold another heart touching story of Satya Sai Baba. Let's take a look.
Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath, this is my food. Love is my form, truth is my breath.
We at Prashanti offer our humblest pranams at the most sacred lotus feet of Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Welcome brothers and sisters, this is Nalini. Previously on Prashanti, we brought you the ultimate supernatural act of Shri Baba when he restored to life the dead. Today we bring you two more such stories of Western devotees, Mr. Walter Covens and Mr. Isaac Tigret. Let's watch.
It was on Christmas that I was taken sick with pneumonia and died. The doctors pronounced that I was dead, and they loaded me into this morgue wagon. I knew I was dead, but my consciousness kept going along at all times. Until we got to the morgue, two men carried me in a stretcher and dumped me on the bed. And then I found myself in a great hall with Sai Baba alongside of me. Sai Baba said that I did not complete the work that I was born to do. He addressed the judge very respectfully, and the judge was very respectful to him. He knew him apparently very well. He said this, I most respectfully ask that this soul be returned to his body. The judge said, so be it.
Told that Baba rubbed Babudi on his chest and breathed the breath of life in him.
So I went into my body, and that very instant I was right back into the old grind of breathing and trying to get my breath.
The saga of Walter Coven did not end with the first resurrection. After Baba brought him back, Walter's life continued to be in danger. He died 3 times and Baba brought him back. Mrs. Coven writes, each time, as soon as I cried out, Baba, 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 Walter is going, Baba stood there in the hospital room and brought Walter back by rubbing his chest. After the return to California at a gathering, Mrs. Coven said, we have come from India with the most astounding news that can happen to anyone. Many of you may doubt it because hardly any of us realize the tremendous power of this great high God who not only walks the earth but cares for all the planes from earth to eternity. Swami brought Walter back to life, saying that he still had a role to play in his mission. The Covens indeed played a major role in disseminating Sai literature in the West by reprinting Satya Sai Speaks and starting the Sai Book Center and a library in California. Walter Coven told the world about his resurrection by publishing an account of his experiences after death, which became immensely popular. Isaac Tigret, who helped build the super specialty hospital, was brought back to life many times by Baba.
I remember one time leaving the road, terribly intoxicated, about 5 o'clock in the morning in a Porsche Targa doing about 90 miles an hour in California down a canyon. This car flew off into the air about a 300 or 400 foot drop. I had actually fallen asleep while driving home, and Sai Baba suddenly appeared next to me in the car. Put his arm around me, and I just noticed him as the car started to spin in midair. It was totally and completely destroyed. Yet I got up and out. I mean, the pressure of this arm around me, I guess, protected me completely, and I got up and walked out of this car without even a bruise, much less a scratch. I got on a plane immediately and went to India to thank him. And of course, he ignored me the whole time I was there. Again, in 1977, I had an epileptic fit due to an intense drug overdose in a hotel room in Denver, Colorado. I lost all motor response. I fell to the floor. I swallowed my tongue. I choked to death. My spirit came out of the top of my head. I was in a different state of consciousness, and I was looking down at my body. Something in that state of consciousness, which was one of total peace, said to me, your time is not now, call your guru's name. I called Sai Baba's name, and he appeared instantly in this room. He picked me up and put me on a bed. He pulled my tongue out. I'm watching this from above. He places his hand on my chest and pushes on my chest, and the spirit went right back into my body. I left for India the next day to thank Sai Baba, and he ignored me for several months on that occasion as well.
Once again, the drama of Lazarus was reenacted. Thank you for watching Prashanti. Jai Sai Ram.